complete. So let me slightly revise this. So it is given that a series magnetic circuit comprises of 3 sections. So basically that circuit comprises of 3 sections, and each section has been given a particular length and particular cross section area. Okay, so for example, section 1 has a length of 80 mm as I have marked here. This is section 1. So this is having length of 80 mm and it has a cross section area of 60 mm square. And then you have section 2 which has a length of 70 mm and a cross section area of 80 millimeter square. And then you have an air gap of length 0.5 mm. So all these 3 I have marked here. And then sections 1 and 2 are of a material having magnetic characteristics given by the following table. So this is the data required to plot the VH curve, and this data has been given. So you can connect all these dots. So for example, if you draw the graph between H and B, so for point corresponding to point 2 you have 100, and corresponding to point 4 you have 210. Similarly, you can plot all the other points and then join them, because while performing the calculations you may require the value of H for a particular value of B. So this graph will be helpful at that point. So then determine the current necessary in a coil of 4000 turns wound on section 2 to produce a flux density of 0.7 Tesla in the air gap. So the flux density in the air gap is given. So, and we know that this air gap and this region 1 has the same area of cross section, and moreover this coil is wound on region 2, and then the number of turns is given to be 4000. So this much information we have. Let us try to proceed further and try to determine the current I. Okay, so let us go step by step. So first of all, let us take up this section 1. So this section 1 has the same cross section area as that of the air gap. So this has same cross section area as air gap. So we know that flux density B is equal to 5 by A. Okay. So when the cross section area is uniform, so obviously the flux density will also be uniform. So therefore we can write, so therefore flux density is also same as the air gap. So in this case, we can write B is equal to, can I write B1 so that it will be clear to you? B corresponding to section 1. So B1 will also be 0.7 Tesla. Now, if you look at the graph that we have drawn for 0.7 Tesla, oh sorry, I have done a mistake here. This has to be B and this has to be H. So sorry for that. So if you look at 0.7 Tesla, let us see what is the corresponding value of B. So we must be getting around something close to 415. So you may get something different because you are drawing this graph approximately on using freehand. So obviously you must be getting something different, but the procedure matters. Okay. So B1 is equal to 0.7 Tesla. So accordingly you get H1 is equal to how much? 415 ampere turns per meter. So this we can get from the graph. And now I know height and I know this length 80 mm. So I know the EMF required in this section 1. Sorry, the required MMF will be nothing but height into L. So of course, as I told you, there are 3 equations that we know for this MMF, but since height and L are known to us, so this will be more appropriate. So this will be 450 into, and this length is given to be 80 mm. So it is 80 into 10 to the power minus 3. We will be getting around 33.2 ampere turns. Okay, so this is about section 1. So now let us analyze section 2 and the air gap. So both information will be required for us. So by using the because the magnetic flux density in the air gap is given, so obviously we can we also know the mu naught. Okay, so in this case we don't know the mu r, so this mu r is unknown to us. Okay, but in this case of air gap, this mu is equal to mu naught, so that mu naught is known to us. So therefore, we will be able to find the flux. So from that, let me go to the section 2 next. So this section 2, again the section 2, it has a different cross section area. Okay, so different cross section area means B is equal to 5 by A. So when this A is changing, obviously this B should change accordingly. So now we need to find the B corresponding to this section. So before we go, we must be able to know what is 5. So only when we know 5, we'll be able to find this B for this section 2. Okay, so B2 is equal to 5 divided by A2. And if you look at the air gap, the air gap flux is equal to B, I'll denote it as BG. So BG into AG. So BG is given in the question, it is 0.7 Tesla. And the area of cross section of the air gap is also known to us. So that is 60 into 10 to the power minus 3. It is mm square. So it is minus 3 square. So it is 0.7 into 60 into 10 to the power minus 6. You will be getting around 42 into 10 to the power minus 6. So flux we have obtained. Okay, so now when flux is known to us, and now we know the area of cross section for this section 2, so therefore we will be able to find B2. Okay, so the flux density in section 2, it can be found. So you can directly substitute it here. So we will be getting B2, that is the flux density for section 2. So this will be 42 into 10 to the power minus 6 Weber divided by, so what is the area of cross section? 80 into 10 to the power minus 6. So this is the area of cross section for section 2. So we must be getting around 0.525 Tesla. And now again let us try to use the graph that we have drawn. Going back to the graph. Now look at this graph. So for 0.525 Tesla, So let us see how much height we are getting. So you must be getting around 285 ampere turns per meter approximately. So from the graph, we can get H2 is equal to 285 ampere turns per meter. Okay, so now H2 is known and L2 is also known to us. So L2 is also known to us because here it is given to be 70 mm. So L2 is known to us. Now we can find the MMF required in this section. So therefore the MMF required in section 2. So in section 2 it is H2 into L2. So H2 is 285 ampere turns per meter. L2 is given to be 70 mm here the question. So it is 70 into 10 to the power minus 3. It is 19.95 ampere turns. Okay. So now I have computed the MMF required for section 1 and I have also computed for section 2. So let us try to do the same for the air gap as well. So before that, is there any questions? No. The air gap, which is nothing but your section 3. Okay. So here, how to find height? So B is already given in the question. So in the air gap, flux density is given to be 0.7 Tesla, and so height is equal to B by mu naught. So we know that height is equal to B by mu. So here mu is equal to mu naught. So it is B divided by mu naught. So 0.7 divided by 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. So you'll be getting around 0.557 into 10 to the power minus, if this goes to the numerator, you'll be getting 10 to the power 6 ampere turns per meter. So now again here it is easy to find the MMF because we know L and we know. So this BG required in the air gap will be height G into the length of the air gap, that is 0.557 into 10 to the power 6, and LG is given to be 0.5 mm. So it is 0.5 into 10 to the power minus 3. Ultimately, you must be getting around 278.5 ampere turns. So now this MMF is known and this MMF is known, and then here also we know the MMF. Okay, so these three are known to us. So therefore the total MMF required can be computed. The total MMF required. So this includes section 1, section 2 and section 3. 33.2 plus 19.95 plus 278 278.5. Okay. So This is nothing but number of turns into I. So we know the number of turns, it is given in the question to be 4000. So using this very easily we can find I. Okay, so I is given as this put together you will be getting around 331.6 divided by 4000. So we have 0.083 ampere. So this is about the current required to produce a flux density of how much? 0.7 Tesla in the air gap using a 4000 turns coil. Okay. So we have analyzed section after section. We have computed the required MMF in each section. So put together, we have the total MMF required, which is nothing but the number of turns into I. So from which we can know I because N is given in the question. So let us solve one more problem, two more problems before we wind up. This class, before we started solving problems, I discussed the theory portion of this. A very similar magnetic circuit I have discussed. Okay, so I hope the text in the question is clear at your end. So here is the question. So a magnetic circuit, it is made of mild steel, is arranged as shown in the figure. So this is the arrangement, and the central limb is wound with a coil of 500 turns. So this is the central limb, and this is wound with the coil of how many turns? So this is wound with a coil of 500 turns, and this has a cross section area of how much? 80 mm square. So this cross section area, maybe I can mark it with a different color. So this cross section area is given to be how much? 800 mm square. And each of the outer limbs, they have a cross section area of 500 mm square. So these are the outer limbs. So this limb or this limb, whatever you take, so this has a cross section of how much? 500 mm square. And the air gap, it has a length of how much? 1 mm. It is marked here. Air gap has a length of 1 mm. And calculate the current required to set up a flux of 1.3 milliweber in the central limb. Okay, so here this current I need to be determined. Okay, so this current I must be capable of setting up a flux of 1.3 milliweber, 1.3 milliweber in the central limb. Okay, so it is also assumed that there is no magnetic leakage and no fringing. So calculations becomes much more simple. And to know the BH curve or the BH data, some information is available to us. So these are this information corresponding to 3800 ampere turns per meter. So we have a flux density of 1.625 Tesla, and then corresponding to 850 ampere turns per meter, you have a flux density of 1.3 Tesla. I'm going to write this, whatever is given. So B H. So for B of 1.3 Tesla, I have H to be 850 ampere turns per meter. So this is in Tesla, and then corresponding to 1.625 Tesla, I have the H to be 3800. So let us solve this. First of all, let us consider the central limb. So central limb in the sense the limb where this coil is wound. Now it is given here that the flux to be produced in the central limb. So this is 1.3 milliweber. So that is 1.3 into 10 to the power minus 3 Weber. And it is also given the cross section area is how much? It is given to be 800 mm square. So A is given to be 800 mm square. So which is nothing but 800 into 10 to the power minus 3 square meter square. Okay. So area of cross section is this much. And now when A is known and phi is known, it will be easy for us to find the flux density, which is nothing but phi by A is how much? 1.3 into 10 to the power minus 3 divided by area of cross section, that is 800 into 10 to the power minus 6. So you will be getting around 1.625 Tesla. Okay, now the data is available to us. So for B is equal to 1.625. How much is the height? It is already given in the question, that is 3,800. Okay, so in this case, height will be 3,800 from the given data. So if you want to differentiate, you can give phi 1, A1, B1, A1 and all that. I am writing it without the subscript. So in L, the length of this central limb is given to be how much? So the length is given to be 120 meter. If you see the question, it is already marked here. L is 120 mm. So therefore, I will be able to find the mmf required in the central limb. So this is how much? Height into L. So that is 3,800 into 120 into 10 to the power minus 3. You get 456 ampere turns per meter. So once this is done, let us try to analyze the air gap. Given that there is no leakage, so if you read the question, it is given that there is no magnetic leakage and fringing. So therefore, there is no change. So the moment they say there is no fringing, which means that there is no change in the area of cross section. So therefore, flux density is same as central limb. So therefore, H is equal to B divided by mu naught, and B we have already computed for the central limbs. The same thing you can use here as well because there is no fringing. 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7. So that is 0.1293 into 10 to the power 7 ampere turns per meter. So as usual, the procedure, if you see, it's again getting repeated. I am finding L, and L, the required L is already given in the question. The length of the air gap is given to be how much? 1 mm. So it is 1 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter. Okay, so once height and L are known, I will be able to write the mmf required in the air gap. So which is nothing but height into L. So 0.1293 into 10 to the power 7 into 10 to the power minus 3. So you must be getting around 1293 ampere turns. Okay. Sorry, this must be in ampere turns. So now which region is left? So the side limbs are left. So let us go back to the diagram that is given in the question. Now, if you can recollect from the theory that I discussed, at this particular point A, what happens is that the flux gets divided through these side arms. Okay, so these side limbs, the flux gets equally divided. So here the amount of flux that will be reaching at this point will be 1.3 milliweber. So from here onwards, 1.3 milliweber by 2 will be going in this way, and then 1.2 milliweber by 2. Half of this will be going in this way, just like the current gets divided in the electrical circuit. So if you look at the flux through, I'm using the same notation that is given in the diagram as well. If you look at the path A, B, C, D. Okay, so flux through A, B, C, D and A, F, E, D are how much? 1.3 into 10 to the power minus 3 by 2, half of whatever it reaches the point A. So this will be 0.65 into 10 to the power minus 3 Weber. Now let us see the flux density in any, because now these two are parallel arms. Okay, so you don't have to individually calculate the MMF required for each side arms. So only if you do for one, it is sufficient, because again the dimension is same and then the material usage is also same. So therefore the and moreover they are in parallel. So in this case the flux density will be how much? It will be B is equal to 5 by A. So 5 is known to us. So that is 0.65 into 10 to the power minus 3. And the area of cross section, it is given in the question. The area of cross section is given to be 500 into 10 to the power minus 3 square. Ultimately, you get 1.3 Tesla. Again, in the question, it is given what will be the value of H corresponding to the B 1.3 Tesla. So let me. For 1.3 Tesla, the value of H is 850 ampere turns per meter. So in this case, H is equal to 850 ampere turns per meter. So this is given data. So how do you find the MMF required for the paths ABCD and AFEB? So this should not be ambiguous to you. So what I want to say is that the MMF required for the path ABCD and AFED both will be same. You can compute any of this. Okay, so required for the path ABCD is how much? H into L, that is 850 into L, and L is again given in the question. So it is given in the question to be 300 mm. So this length is given to be 300 mm. (255 ampere turns). And within bracket I am writing, so this will be the same MMF required in AF. What is this? AFED. So we are in the same path. So now we can find the total MMF required. So in one place it was 255, and then for the air gap, so this is for the side limb. For the air gap we have found to be how much? Air gap we have found to be 1293, and then for the middle limb we have found to be 456 ampere turns. So all this we can put together. This is 1293 plus 456. So we have 4 ampere turns. Now n is given in the question to be 500. So therefore n into I is obtained to be, so this is given 2004. So therefore I will be 4 divided by 500. You will be getting approximately how much? 4 ampere approximately. So we have somewhat time left. We'll try to solve a very simple question compared to this. Again, in continuation with the parallel magnetic circuit theory that I discussed, and the previous problem that I discussed was in continuation with the theory of series parallel magnetic circuit. So this length is given to be 25 centimeter, and this is 25 centimeter, and here it is 15 centimeter, and the coil is wound here. So this is the flux that is initially produced here, and along this path, and the paths are given some names C and D. So along this path, this flux is divided here, phi 1, phi 2. So the question has to be continued. Determine the current that the 500 turns magnetizing coil. So this coil has 500 turns, and again here the current has to be determined. Determine the current that the 500 turns magnetizing coil on the left limb should carry, so that a flux of 2 milliweber is produced in the right limb. So which means that this phi 2 is given to be how much? So phi 2 is given to be, so this is given to be 2 milliweber. And we know that phi is equal to phi 1 plus phi 2. That is again a result that you can use for solving this problem. And assume mu r is equal to 600 and neglect leakage. So let us try to understand the given data. So this is the cast iron magnetic structure. It is having a it is made of a bar of cross section area 4 centimeters square, which means this cross section area is how much? So this cross section area is given in the question to be 4 centimeter square. And this cross section area is going to be uniform wherever you go, because it is with the help of this bar having this cross section area 4 centimeters square, and this entire circuit has been made. Determine the current that the 500 turns magnetizing coil on the left limb should carry, so that a flux of 2 milliweber is produced in the right limb. So mu r for this material is given to be 600. Neglect the leakage. So let us proceed further. So one thing that you can notice from this given circuit is that this path C as well as D are in parallel. Okay. So therefore the MMF across these two will be obviously same. Okay, so which means that phi 1 into S1. S1 is nothing but the reluctance of that particular path where the flux phi 1 is flowing. This is equal to phi 2 S2, because these two are in parallel. Okay, so therefore phi 1 S1 is equal to phi 2 S2. MMFs are same. That's the reason. And expanding this equation further. So this is nothing but L1. So L1 is given there in the question. So this is L1 divided by mu into A. And again, mu is going to be the same because mu r is obviously same. So therefore mu is also going to be same, and area of cross section is also same. So therefore I don't have to give a separate subscript for this. So it is phi 1 into 15. It is given. This is given to be 15 centimeter. Okay, and again this is given to be 25 centimeter. Okay, so this is for the flux 5.2 to flow, and this is for the flux 5.1 to flow. So this is the length 15 centimeter, and this length is 25 centimeter. So it is 15. Both sides centimeter. Don't have to convert it into meter. It gets cancelled. And this phi2 is given to be how much? 2 milliweber, 2 into 10 to the power minus 3 and into 25 centimeter. So this is centimeter, this is again centimeter divided by mu A. So therefore I can obtain this relation for phi1 to be 10 by 3, 10 to the power minus 3 Weber. And I also know that phi is equal to phi1 plus phi2. So in this way I can get the total flux. So I know phi1 to be 10 by 3 into 10 to the power minus 3, and then phi2 to be 2 milliweber, 2 into 10 to the power minus 3. Ultimately I will be getting 16 by 3, 10 to the power minus 3 Weber. So taking things further. So if you find the total EMF required in this case, so again let us take a look at the circuit. So in this case the total EMF required will be the EMF that is required for this particular limb, and then any one of these limbs, either this or this, because these two are ultimately in parallel, so it will be the same EMF across these two. So this is the EMF required by path E plus EMF required by paths either C or D. So to find this EMF required, of course we require some data. So for finding this EMF required as well as this, we require some data. Let's try to obtain that data. So what is the data? First of all, we want to know the flux density in the path E. So we know the flux, we have obtained it here. So once we know the flux, obviously we can find the flux density, because the area of cross section is also known to us. It is given in the question to be 4 centimeter square. So it is 16 into 10 to the power minus 3. So this 16 by 3, 10 to the power minus 3 divided by 4 into 10 to the power minus 2. So we'll be getting around 40 by 3 Weber per meter square. So if this is the flux density, so the ampere turns, or you can write the EMF required will be nothing but H into L, and I know this H to be B divided by mu into L. So therefore it is B into L divided by mu 0 mu R. So B we have just obtained to be 40 by 3, and L is how much? 25 centimeter, which is nothing but 0.25 meter. and mu 0 is 4 pi into 10 to the power minus 7, and mu r is again given in the question to be 600. It is 4420. So going back to the flux density, in the any of these parallel paths you can take into consideration, either the path D or you can take the path C. So this will be how much? So we know the flux that is flowing through the path D. So it is directly given in the question to be 2 milliweber, and the area of cross section, it is again given, that is 4 into 10 to the power minus 4. That is 5 Weber per meter square. And in this case, what will be the MMF required? It will be again H into L, which is B by mu into L. So flux density is 5, and mu is mu 0 into mu r, and L is again given to be 25 centimeter. So this is 1658. So this ampere turns is known, and this is also known to us. So now it is easy for us to find the total ampere turns. It is so this are the total MMF required. So this is N into I is 6078. So therefore I is 6078 by 500. That is 12.16 ampere. So that's it. We have completed the 4th module. So from Monday onwards, we can start discussing transformers. Okay. In the supply that you are getting at your home, in the plug point, you are getting a supply of, let's say, 220 or 240 volts, whatever. And then for your application, you need to convert this 250 volt to maybe a 20 volt or a 40 volt, whatever. You want to step down this voltage basically. So in that case, you require something to convert this high voltage into this low voltage, which is required for your electronic appliance or anything. Maybe even if you look at the mobile charger, so there will be a small transformer that is used, which is actually stepping down this voltage. And similarly, in some applications, you need to step up the voltage. So there will be a low voltage that will be available to you, and how to step up the voltage and how that function is performed. So all this we will discuss on Monday. Okay. So now time is up. You can prepare yourself for the next class.